What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're planning a trip to Victoria Falls, then this is the video for you. Now, sadly, Victoria Falls has gained itself a reputation as a very expensive destination reserved only for the wealthy on their once-in-a-lifetime trip to Africa. But I'm here to tell you that that doesn't have to be the case. I found that Victoria Falls is as expensive and as affordable as you want it to be. If you find this guide helpful, please do give the video a thumbs up to support my channel. Now, before we get any further, we need to discuss location. So Victoria Falls is shared by both Zimbabwe and Zambia. So you're going to have to decide which side of the falls you want to base yourself in. Or if you have enough time, you can split your time between both sides of the falls. But if that's the route you're going to go for, make sure to get a visa for both Zimbabwe and Zambia. Or top tip, if you are going to visit both sides or you're still undecided, maybe you might want to consider getting a double entry visa, which allows you to visit Zambia from Zimbabwe and then go back into Zimbabwe at a discounted fee. I believe it's currently $70 US for that visa versus $50 for a single entry visa into Zimbabwe. And if you don't have time to visit both countries, then I would recommend staying in Zimbabwe because that is where you get the better views of the Victoria Falls, and that is where I stayed. And so this guide will be focused on Zimbabwe. Now on to transportation. There are a few options for traveling to Victoria Falls. You can go by plane, by bus, or by car. As you can imagine, the bus is the most affordable option. However, I was coming from Bulawayo, and the road from Bulawayo to Victoria Falls has seen better days. Quite frankly, it's in terrible condition, and my family vetoed my decision to go by bus because of safety concerns. And so we ended up settling for the middle ground, which was a private car. We paid $260 for a return journey by car. A bus would have cost us about $20 US for a return, and a flight would have been about $400 US. So like I say, it is as expensive and as affordable as you want it to be. Now, accommodation is where it can get very silly very fast. So if you're on a honeymoon or you're on a once-in-a-lifetime trip or you just have it like that, you can stay in one of many high-end luxury lodges that can cost you upwards of $1,000 US a night. Of course, there is a middle ground. You can find many mid-range budget accommodation on booking.com or Agoda. But I am a budget traveler, so I stayed in a hostel. I stayed 2 nights at Shoestring Backpackers Lodge, and I stayed 1 night at Victoria Falls Backpackers Lodge, and I preferred Shoestrings by a mile. It just felt like it was built and run for backpackers, like it just had this greater social atmosphere. Whereas I found Victoria Falls Lodge to be a lot quieter and almost catered to families. I've actually made a comparison video, so you can check that out if you want to compare the 2 hostels. I paid $49 for 3 nights of accommodation. As with accommodation, food and drink is a good area where you can save money. Now, in our 4 nights in Victoria Falls, I spent about $53 US on food and drink. And my advice for you when it comes to saving money here is to eat local food. So in Zimbabwe, that's going to be sadza, veg, and nyama. And that's about $1.50 a meal. In hostels, it's a little bit pricier. I believe it was about $15 US for, quite frankly, a mediocre pizza and 2 ciders at Shoestring Backpackers Lodge. I will say that we really wanted to go for a bomber meal, and this cost about $50 US. Sadly, it was all sold out by the time we were ready to book, so I do recommend that you book that in advance. I mean, from what I'm gathering, it's more than a meal, it's a whole experience. And I'm actually going to include a screenshot here to show you how this experience is advertised. But yeah, make sure to book that early because it looks incredible. Now, speaking of experiences, this is where your money evaporates. Like seriously, you blink and $100 is gone. It's worth it though. I went on my first ever horse riding safari here and it was incredible. We paid $110. Would I do it again? Yes, absolutely yes. Guys, for 2.5 hours, we were on horseback in the Zambezi National Park, watching as various animals went about their business in their natural environment. We were given 2 guides between the 4 of us, and they stayed with us the whole time. They were happy to answer any questions we had, whether it was the technicalities of riding a horse or about the animals we saw or just about the park itself. It was an incredible experience. But let me tell you what I'll never do again. You could not pay me to go on a gorge swing again. Guys, I paid $83 to go on a tandem swing with my cousin, and maybe I'm getting old, but Jesus Christ, never again. Guys, if that man hadn't pushed us, neither of us were going to make the jump ourselves. Like, we were not going to make the jump ourselves. I mean, I'm glad that I've done it because now I can say I've done it and I can tick off bungee jumping off my list, but never again. You can also pay $165 US to do the tandem swing on your own and a zip line and the, flying fox. Yeah, so that's a really good package if you wanted to do all of those activities. But again, it's $165. It's not cheap. Then, of course, the reason you travel to Victoria Falls, which is to see the Queen herself. I paid $7 entry fee, but that's because I used my Zimbabwean passport as ID, because locals get a significantly discounted fee. If you're traveling with a foreign passport, such as British or American, then you're going to be paying $50 entrance fee. And guys, to be honest with you, I would have happily paid the $50 because I have never seen something so beautiful and majestic and just proof of God's existence like Victoria Falls. Like, trust me when I say that the camera cannot do it justice. And just, if you have the opportunity to go to Victoria Falls, you have to go to Victoria Falls. It is just, for me, proof of God's existence, because only God could make something so majestic and beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's like butterflies outside. That's beautiful too. But yeah, Victoria Falls, amazing. Oh, and also it's expensive. Bring your own water. Bring your own water, because they tried to charge us $2 for a bottle of water in Zimbabwe. Outrageous. There are 2 more activities that I really want to include in this video that I didn't get to do because I ran out of time, but I think would be incredible to add onto your own itinerary if you have the time and if you have the budget, because they're not cheap. So first of all, and I'm glad I didn't get to do this because it's been on my bucket list for so long, but go to Devil's Pool or Angel's Pool, depending on what time of the year you go. I mean, honestly, just imagine hanging over the Victoria Falls and getting that incredible view. I mean, just imagine the adrenaline rush. It is insane. But to do this activity, you do have to cross over onto the Zambian side, and it's going to cost you about $190. And actually, bonus one, there's also the option to do like a helicopter tour over Victoria Falls. So again, another incredible view, another one that you have to cross over onto Zambia to do. And I think it also costs another like $180, but that one is for 15 minutes. So I was never going to do that one. But if you have it like that, then that will be like an incredible one to add onto your list. Or like a micro flight, which is a very tiny helicopter that doesn't have a door. If I could, that's probably the one I would do, but I'm not paying silly money for 15 minutes, so that's not me. But for $170, you can have a full day trip to Shobe National Park in Botswana. So you get to have a full safari experience along with your trip to Victoria Falls. I think for a full day experience, $170 is quite fair, but do remember that this is in Botswana, so you will have to get another visa to enter Botswana and then also to return to Zimbabwe. So let's end the video with some quick tips. Number 1, travel with toilet paper. These are really long journeys and you never know when nature's going to call. Either you go into a public toilet that doesn't have toilet paper, or you have to run into the woods and they definitely don't have toilet paper. Number 2, plan your route so that you arrive in Victoria Falls before nighttime. Like I said, the roads from Bulawayo to Victoria Falls are in terrible condition and you don't want to be tackling those at night. Number 3, and this one is for Zimbabweans living abroad, make sure to bring your Zimbabwean passport. Even if it's expired, you can use it as ID and get discounted entrance prices into any activity, most activity. Number 4, save money on food by eating locally. You can get sadza, nyama and veg for about $1.50, so you save money, but you also support the local community. Number 5, book the Boma meal at least 2 weeks in advance if you don't want to miss out. It books out really fast because it does look like an incredible experience and I'm gutted that I missed it. So make sure to book that in advance. Number 6, bring a waterproof jacket when you go to view the falls themselves. Guys, the spray is spraying like it's incredible, but you will get absolutely drenched, so I do recommend you bring a waterproof jacket. Number 7, Zimbabwe has the best views for Victoria Falls. Like I said, there are 15 viewpoints in Zimbabwe and 4 viewpoints in Zambia. However, the adrenaline activities such as Devil's Pool and the microflight are found on the Zambian side, so you're going to have to decide what's more important to you, or split your time between both. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful in any way, I would really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up. Do drop me a comment to boost the algorithm, and tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll see you guys in the next season, which might be Egypt or might be South America. I don't know.